So welcome back to DecoyNoise and another episode of Am I the Antagonist? Am I the antagonist for telling my extended family how many men, roughly, my sister has slept with after she outed my youngest brother as a virgin? So in another episode of Furlough DecoyNoise, I'm getting myself as bummy as possible, my hair's a mess, I'm just descending into madness, and if you want to watch that happen, make sure you subscribe down below, and let me know in the comment section what subscriber number you are. As of recording this video, I believe I'm at 850 subscribers, and once I hit 1,000, I'm not going to be able to record it anymore, so on the DecoyNoise website, I'll try to commemorate everybody in that sub 1,000 mark, because hopefully at one point in time, I'll be at 100k, 1 million, so it'll mean something if you were my original pack or whatever. But let's get to a very controversial Am I the Antagonist thread. So we had a family dinner this evening. My family has 4 kids in total. Me, my elder sister, a 29-year-old female, my younger sister, a 24-year-old female, and my youngest brother, a 22-year-old male. Extended family attended our family dinner, so all our significant others, our cousins, aunts, and uncles, etc. During the dinner, my eldest sister and youngest brother got into a mild disagreement. My sister seemed, at least to me, to be coming across as very aggressive out of frustration and losing said argument. The two of them were too absorbed in their argument to realize the rest of us were getting a bit fed up. Eventually, my sister got really fed up and said, "Shut up, I'm not going to argue with a 22-year-old virgin." My brother hadn't done any personal attacks up until that point, and it was completely unprovoked. I think it might have been the alcohol, as my sister is a mean drunk. Okay. Anyway, I immediately told my sister to grow up, and she was making an embarrassment of herself. She replied by saying that everyone knows he's a virgin, and he didn't say anything wrong, or she didn't say anything wrong. This annoyed me, as my bro definitely has confidence issues and doesn't like to be made fun of like this. Nobody does. So I responded by saying how she slept with well over 100 men while she was in college, and that since everyone in the family knows this, it's not a big deal, right? Turns out her husband didn't know this, and amazingly, I genuinely assumed he must have known. He left the party angrily, saying my sister misled him about her past. My family is blaming me for their marital problems. I refuse to accept that I did anything wrong. My sister bullied my brother in front of everyone. All I did was give her a taste of her own medicine. Is she the antagonist? So like I say in Decoy Court, I'm going to give my knee-jerk reaction to this. This is my personal opinion. And as you guys can probably tell if you've been around, I myself am kind of an antagonist. And I wear it with pride, whatever. Like, I can kind of be mean in certain situations. So the one thing I'll say about this is, yes, marital problems is a much bigger deal than just like, kind of dissing a kid. But I can kind of take, I can kind of feel for the youngest brother, a 22-year-old male, like being a quiet younger kid. Like, you're having an argument, what it's about, politics or sports, whatever it was they're arguing about. And all of a sudden she starts personally attacking him. And if he's like kind of quiet and has like, image issues and he's like, kind of getting small, like, smaller and doesn't want to like reply anymore. And he's like losing the fight. Is OP the antagonist? Yes, OP is an antagonist, but it's like, is she the antagonist the family needs right now? Is she the antagonist, the city, the hero that he needs? Yes, likely. And the thing is, though, is it's like, what do they say? What's good for the goose is good for the gander? Let me know in the comments what the actual word is, the actual phrase is. But the idea that, if the gloves are coming off, she needs to be able to accept the fact that it's like, if you're going to bring that up, it's all bets are off. Like if me and I don't know, Cheddar's a cat. If me and Greg are like wrestling, we're kind of fighting or whatever, yeah, whatever. But if I start throwing punches at him, he can't get mad I can't get mad if he starts throwing punches back at me. Like if they want to bring up, like sexual history, she has to be okay with the idea. It's like, if you're going to shame me for my life choices, I can shame you for your life choices. And she can't get all uppity and like, oh my God, you can't do that. Like, I can punch you, but you can't punch me back. Like, how dare you? Like, there's more consequences to that. And there would be one thing where it's like, oh, I guess I'm kind of proving myself wrong. Like, let's say if there's 2 people fighting and it's like, the 29-year-old sister and the 22-year-old brother, and the brother can take a couple hits and be fine. But the 29-year-old older sister has like a problem where she has like brittle bones or something. So if she's hitting him and he hits her back, she's actually gonna have much more consequences from like the opposite way. I'm terrible at explaining this, but I could kind of see where you would need the adult in the room to kind of say like, okay, look, she's more fragile in this aspect. You can't really, you can't do that. But I'm willing to say like, hey, if she's a 29-year-old adult, is married, has her own family, and she's gonna try to shame the kid, like, she had it coming or whatever. Is OP an antagonist? Yes, but Decoy Court is saying we're throwing the case out. Like, yes, is she guilty? Yeah, probably, but I mean, I'm not willing to make her serve any time for that, because look, if she didn't want anybody to bring that up, she shouldn't have brought it up. Of course, she was drunk and she was a mean drunk at that point in time, but That's not an excuse, at least not to me. But let's look at some top comments and look at some controversial comments, because I'm guessing everybody in the comment section is going to be pretty split. But as always, I take more value in the DecoyNoise, your voice. I like reading your replies, and as I said, as I'm furloughed, I have nothing better to do than to read all your replies in the comment section. So please, have at it. Let me know how wrong I am or how bad this is, but whatever. The top comment is, everyone sucks here. One person making personal attacks doesn't mean something else should, especially since you weren't even in the argument to begin with. And the one thing I could say is, like I said, I kind of took the younger brother side. I was quiet as a kid, and I could see myself being like, I'm not going to stand up for myself, but I'd be kind of happy if, like, older sister came out and saved me or whatever. So it's like, I'm not saying they're being a peacekeeper by doing this, but it might be the right decision to make, where maybe the older sister isn't going to be making fun of the younger brother anymore after this, this turning point where she's like, okay, you know what? I can't bring that up because I'm actually more exposed in this. But let's read on. Next reply. Yeah, everyone sucks here seems right. Not cool of her to be going after her brother like that. But there are so much better ways of diffusing the argument than stooping to her level of personal attack regardless of the aftermath. Yes, do we not want to stoop to their level? Yes, do we not want to be the only adults in the room? But honestly, sometimes they're talking to antagonists, you need to speak antagonist. That's the only language they understand. And she was likely never going to stop that behavior until someone gave her a taste of her own medicine. Is that the right thing to do? No. And take me 10 years from now, I probably would have a different opinion on it. But me, as I am right now, yeah, that was the right thing. I don't think everybody sucks here, but necessary sucks, I guess. So the next reply is, I'll never understand why people with bigger skeletons try to go after others. No, chill. I don't think that she had the foresight to think anybody was going to stand up for the younger brother, so that's why she did it. And the next reply is, it's possible they don't think other people were out there bigger skeletons. Hopefully the older sister will learn from this. That's exactly what I said. Next top comment. Not the antagonist. You were looking out for your little brother and you fought with the truth. If your sister can't take the truth, she shouldn't dish it out. She also shouldn't have kept it from her husband. Yeah. At what point in time is that like going to come up in a natural progression when they're dating or whatever? Like when you've been with somebody for like a year and you're going to get married, it's not going to come up. And also in the beginning of the relationship, does it really come up? Like, let me know in the comment section below if that does come up. Like, yeah, I'm into like, I love the Boston Celtics. I like to skateboard. I like Xbox. Slept with 100 people in college. And, I just like, I really like Korean barbecue. Like, let me know more about you. Like, that doesn't naturally come up, but let me know if that has for you. The next reply is, didn't she say there was nothing wrong with talking about other siblings' sex life? Sounds like she doesn't think that applies to her, but she has no right to be upset that OP followed her position. And that's the thing, is like, if you take the gloves off, you can't get mad if they take the gloves off too. Like, you can't play the innocent victim if you're the one that like took it to that point. But, here's my inner antagonist talking. So next reply is, yeah, but why do these siblings know each other, know so much about each other's sex lives? They're siblings, they talk, whatever. Okay, so next reply, not the antagonist. 1, she started the personal attack on body count, so she can't get mad when someone points out hers. It's so funny that the idea that like I feel like this generation's calling it body count, and just the idea that I don't think that it's ever been phrased like that before, but when I saw that like on social media or Instagram or something, I immediately knew what they were referring to, and it's kind of like, how do we all kind of decide on that? Let me know in the comments below how like is the word vernacular, is like slang, whatever it is. How do people just kind of come across the same word? But whatever. She lied to her too. She lied to her husband about her past, and that's her fault. If anything, she's the antagonist for that. I mean, lie by omission, but that's kind of a weird topic. And 3, if their marriage is truly in trouble for you speaking the truth, it's probably not the best match. There's a lot that goes into that. Like, you don't want to ruin a marriage over something that, like, I don't want to say it's a non-factor, but it almost seems like they were past that at that point in time. And it's probably one of those situations where maybe he knew about it, but the husband didn't want to get blasted out in front of the whole extended family, where like, he feels judged now and he feels misled. So I guess one of the bigger problems would probably be is like, why is the husband so affected about her past or whatever? And if she had a promiscuous past or whatever, and whatever point she's at right now, he's okay with it, why is he being so judgmental about it? I mean, that's a whole another conversation about it, but I mean, maybe the antagonist would be the husband, where it's like, why does he care so much? Like, I could guess if he's very virtuous, or she lied and said, oh, I saved it for marriage, and he didn't believe that, or very like, maybe she explicitly said the other way, so we don't really know. Maybe not enough information on whether the husband's the antagonist there too, but I mean, yeah, if she, I don't think she lied about it, but it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, if you're gonna bring that up and that's on the table, don't get mad when it gets thrown back at you. Like I said in my podcast right here, as you can kind of tell, I try to like sit on the fence, see both sides of it, not trying to make too much of a definitive statement because I don't want to have to like eat my words later on. They say make sure all the words you speak are soft and fluffy because you never know when you're gonna have to eat them later on. So you'll rarely see me take a firm stance unless I'm very passionate about it and I don't mind eating my words later on. But the next reply is point number 2 is why I go with not the antagonist instead of everyone sucks here. I guess point number 2 is lying about the past. I mean, like I said, I don't really know if it comes up in general conversation. So the reply to that was, that makes no sense. What she has or has not told her husband has zero bearing on whether OP is an antagonist. That is true. That is true. Like, it's not the... there was another post where I had like, over 100 comments on the replies. I'm sorry. On the video, and I'm not going to go too much into it, but it was that OP was the victim, and the subject of the conversation was the person that was like, everybody's like, oh yeah, OP's the antagonist because they're a victim. But I was like, in the comments, I'm like, if you switch this situation and make the subject the victim, this is very hard to say, but it's like, it seems that everybody seems to kind of take the side of the victim in the situation and not necessarily with who holds true liability for it. So we don't want to talk about like who's the victim in the situation. They're the antagonist, or they're not the antagonist. We want to say like who's genuinely liable for the falling out, for the bad part of this problem, whatever. So we don't want to say the thread isn't am I the antagonist? I'm sorry, the thread isn't am I the victim? It's am I the antagonist? And that's what we need to make sure we don't start to detract from. Like where we actually want to see like who is in the wrong here, not who is the victim. So let's move on to the next controversial reply. Everyone sucks here. It makes you look trashy and gross to have this personal information on your sister. And most people probably don't think less of your brother when they heard he's a virgin. It's family. Family does not give S about your sex life unless you're married and making babies. You got involved in a fight that didn't involve you. They shouldn't have been fighting that much, but you could have said something sooner and just asked them to stop. You did nothing but add fuel to the fire and behave like a child. So did they behave like a child? Yes. Yes, they act like an antagonist. But the one thing is, though, is like, this is gross to have that much personal information on the sister. I'm willing to take a reach and say that if the sister genuinely had over 100 partners in college or whatever, everybody probably knew. She probably talked about it. I don't think that you can really get to that body count without being somewhat liberal about, your life and being able to share it. So I'm guessing that that's not trashy and gross to have that much personal information on the sister. I would say it's trashy to have a conversation like that at a family gathering where we're just like outing each other's history or whatever. But just the idea that it's like, people didn't think less of the brother when they heard he was a virgin, but I'm guessing the brother was a bit self-conscious about it. Like if he doesn't have confidence to go out there and like, be hitting clubs and like, hitting on girls, all like, getting drinks and stuff like that, maybe he has self-esteem issues and maybe this is a sore subject for him. And like they said earlier in the early in the post was, he was winning the argument, and the only reason she brought it up is because she was losing it. Like, oh, let me give you some personal attacks because I'm not winning this argument. And he kind of got quiet about it. And the thing is, like, they said you should have said something sooner and asked them to stop. It's like OP did walk up to her and say, hey, you should stop, like knock it off. And then the sister was like, everybody knows about that. So it's like, no, she was drunk, she was being mean, so she stood up for her brother. So does everyone suck here? Yes, but like I said, we're throwing out this case. We don't care that everyone sucks here because it was the necessary evil, I'm saying. But let's look at the reply. Everyone sucks here. And then they quoted, most people didn't think less of your brother when they heard he was a virgin. And then they replied, I don't think that's the point. The sister brought this up as a personal attack. Then OP responded by defending his brother with another personal attack. And families definitely do give a crap about your S life. It's the least nuclear part of it. So, I mean, yeah. But one more controversial reply. So they got gold and silver for controversial because they got 3.9 thousand. Not the antagonist. I feel like everyone voting everyone sucks here thinks it's more damaging to be liberal shame, not liberal, sexually liberal? That's even worse than saying, okay, whatever. So being shamed than it is being shamed for being a virgin. I was a late bloomer, literally every milestone was hit way after it was socially acceptable to people my age. When you tell a person that you're still a virgin, you're immediately hit with the eye. They stare at you and critique you like, yeah, their nose is a little big, I guess. They're pretty socially awkward, so I can see why, etc. That's why it's trying to make sense of what's wrong with you while no one wants to be like that with you. I feel like once you've done it, you feel differently. That's so cute. It's good you're waiting because you should make it special. I didn't, and I totes regret it, so it's really a blessing in disguise, etc. It makes you feel like a little kid trying to sit up at the grown-up table. Oh, you're missing anything. Trust me, it's better to wait, etc. Just a ton of patronizing comments that all you feel is like you feel less than, which is exactly why the shaming is what this shaming is meant to do. If the sister didn't want anyone to poke at her past, then she shouldn't be delving into brother's lack of one. Then they quoted, being a virgin isn't a big deal. The sister said it because she clearly feels like it is, and she wanted to invalidate her brother's voice. That's the whole point of the comment. His opinion, in her eyes, is less than because it's a virgin. Yeah, the thing is, like, the whole being a virgin isn't a big deal. Yeah, in some circles it isn't a big deal, but the idea that she was using it to win a fight makes me feel like they thought it was a big deal in the situation. But to read on. I feel like most people don't understand what it is to be told you're less of a person / less of an adult because you haven't done something like that. It's a very degrading concept. And the idea is... Oh, didn't switch the camera. So the idea is... she was weaponizing it. She was using it to make him feel like less of a person. So, of course, it was a situation where... were they the antagonists? Yes, but I'm guessing they're saying it was a justified antagonist. So, I mean, like I always say, I'm more interested in hearing your guys' comments down below because that's going to be, well, I'm not saying more valid, but it's, you know, it's more relevant to me. It's my channel, so that's what I like to hear. So drop your comment down below as you think of the antagonist, necessary antagonist, what you would have done in the situation, and if you think I'm wrong or whatever. But, I mean, if you made it to this far in the episode, thank you. I'm urging you to subscribe down below and let me know the subscriber count because it's going to be very important once we hit that 1,000 subscriber threshold. And like always, thank you for coming by on the channel and stick around because I have another episode coming up now.